Hey everybody, we're back again. Obviously, I'm doing multiple recordings real quick because I'm already in the middle of playing, and I can only do a 15-minute video uh, per YouTube standards. So I'm coming back to my camp real quick to quickly bulk some items to get them out of my inventory. Uh, so it's one less thing I'm carrying. So that's literally the only thing I can bulk. Okay, that was very pointless. And I can't transfer anything? I can transfer some things, but it's literally going to be like, yeah, like nothing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put on my power armor, which I have a few different, I have like one or two power armors. I obviously have the, this power armor, which is the good old, well, obviously it's the Liberty Prime skin put on here. But I combined it with my excavation power armor, so I have the carrying bonus with it, which is kind of important. The reason why I'm putting this armor on is because I'm going to go to my favorite place to farm for caps. Let me see what my carrying capacity is. Okay, so I'm good still. Once I go there and do some collections of caps, I usually like to go to Fort Defiance. It's like my favorite place to farm for weapons to sell. You can also get a lot of experience by fighting the enemies here. So there's that bonus. I'm just gonna quickly farm here on the screen, but I also want to talk to you guys about um, more about Fallout in general. Uh, I'm definitely gonna rate my Fallouts right now based on what I've played so far. Um, Granted, I absolutely love the original Fallout games. Like they are a lot of fun, but they are not super accessible to people who've played just the Fallout game, like the Bethesda version Fallout games. So if you've never played Fallout 1 and 2, I'd really recommend it, but at the same time, you know, it is completely different. It's 100% a different game. It's still fun, it's just completely different. Um, but I highly recommend it. Anyways, so my absolute number one will always be Fallout New Vegas. I love that game. The DLCs alone made that game worth playing, and that in its own right is a huge factor. If you can make a good game and then on top of that add in a really good storytelling DLCs that actually work with the damn game, as opposed to like Fallout 3, which Fallout 3 I think it doesn't get as much love as it should anymore. I mean, when it first came out, it was like one of the top games out there, and it had great DLC. But Fallout New Vegas definitely, in my personal opinion, outshined it by a long shot. I mean, it's not really my personal opinion because that's a very common opinion that people have about that game. But it goes Fallout New Vegas, and then I'd say Fallout 3 is definitely my. No, wait, sorry. Fallout 1, and then Fallout 2. Reason why I picked 1 is only because Fallout 1 was the beginning of the story. Like it actually it set up the world. So I give it precedence over Fallout 2, even though Fallout 2 was definitely it's basically Fallout 1 but with like a better storyline, I personally think. But Fallout 1 definitely comes in second place. Fallout 2 is definitely third place for me. Fallout 3 is fourth because it's still a great game. It's still damn enjoyable to play. The DLCs, even though they're very disjointed and they don't connect to the main storyline, they're still really fun to play. Uh, broke, uh, broken. Pretty sure it's Broken Steel. There's a few other ones. I just can't remember off the top of my head what they were called. Please forgive me for that, you guys. Um, anyways, then I'd have to go Fallout 76. I personally really don't hate this game. I don't think I ever will hate this game. I think the fact that people just instantly didn't like it because of the fact that it was so glitchy when it started and it didn't have a good storyline and all the shady shit that Bethesda did do because of this game. I understand. I understand the hatred towards this game for those reasons, but the actual game itself is enjoyable as hell to play. I like playing this game a lot. I obviously do play it a lot on my stream. Whenever I get the chance, whenever I'm playing by myself, I usually play this game or with Paul. Uh, it's genuinely fun. I like it. Graphics aren't that bad. I mean, they're definitely not Fallout 4 caliber graphics. Even though they said they had like 16 times the detail and all that stuff, and you really can't tell. You really can't see it. Um, but Fallout 76 genuinely is fun if you play it. If you get a chance to play it, take a look at it, give it a shot, see how you feel, especially with the new DLC that they came out with, the Wastelanders DLC. That definitely breathed a lot of life into this game and made it a lot more enjoyable to play. So if you get an opportunity, take a look at it. It's still not going to be one of my top games just because it's lacking in a lot of other places, but it's not nearly the level that people make it out to be. It's not that bad. But that's why it's fifth on my thing, is that I have to say it's not that bad. I shouldn't have to say that if it's a Fallout game. It's not that bad of a game. I never played the other Fallout games, the ones that came out after Fallout 2, the little, Brotherhood one and stuff like that. So I can't really give you a rating on those, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm gonna rate them. But Fallout 4 is by far my most hated game. I do not like Fallout 4. I can give you an in-depth idea of why I don't like Fallout 4. Mainly, the reason why Fallout 4 falls short to me is that it started the whole, this is popular, let's add this into a Fallout game. And that was when they added in settlement building. Now, settlement building it's not fun. It is fun. Don't get me wrong. But it was the starting point of Bethesda's slow spiral into what they've become, as it were. Which I feel like is a huge disservice to the fan. Sorry, I was getting a little beat up there for a second. Anyways, not only that, but the storyline, it's so ridiculous. There could have been another way to end that game, and the fact that they make it very like, this is what you either pick one faction or not. You can't make it so both factions come together or something like that. And I feel like that really sucks, because in Fallout New Vegas you could do that with like side factions. You can make sure that all side factions survive, but in Fallout 4 that's not possible. You can. It's just really hard and really asinine. It's not clear cut, and I think a lot of people like that aspect to the game, but I don't know. It seemed like the only way to make sure that the Minutemen survive and the Railroad survive is if you skip missions entirely. And if you don't know that going in, then you're going to end up having to kill them. And it's just kind of like, okay, well then I'm kind of hamstringed into this ending where I picked the Institute. I mean, if you pick the Institute, then all of them need to die. But if you pick the Brotherhood, you can kind of make it so that the other factions survive. They won't be, you can keep the Minutemen around and stuff like that. Especially because you put so much effort into becoming a part of the Minutemen and be part of the Railroad just to finish the game. And somehow, some way, you're like, oh no, yeah, you can't. You have to kill one of them. You have to kill both of them, because we're the Brotherhood and we don't like them. Like, that made no sense. And that, honestly, right there also kind of made no sense, because this is the same Brotherhood from Fallout 3. The ones that were, like, fighting for the little guy. And then you got Maxon, who's just became a sociopath. Who's like, oh, he basically became the Enclave. If you want to give us the Enclave in a game, just give us the Enclave. Don't make the Brotherhood the Enclave. That makes no fucking sense. Especially that faction of the Brotherhood. Now, if it had been the West Coast faction of the Brotherhood, then that would make sense. To make them, like, xenophobic and hate everything mutated and all that stuff. That would make sense to me. But the fact that they decided to do that to the faction who was like, oh, what they're doing over in the West, we're not a huge fan of. Because they're xenophobic, they don't like anybody who isn't the Brotherhood, and they're mean to people just for being mean, or just for the sake of it, because they want to, collect technology. And here comes Elder Lyons, who's like, oh, by the way, we're going to be good to the people of the Wasteland, regardless of who they are. That's ghouls or not. Like, they did what was right for the Wasteland, for the capital Wasteland. And then we got fucking Maxon, who was under Elder Lyons and under his daughter, goes, oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna go ahead and just start killing anything that we deem as not pure human. That's when I was like, yeah, no, that's the Enclave. Why not just give us the Enclave at that point? There's no point in making the Brotherhood in that world for that reason. So that's a few things I don't like about Fallout 4. I mean, there's more. There's a lot more about that game that I didn't enjoy. I don't like the fact that they added in modding. I mean, I like that they did, but at the same time, it kind of ruined the game for me because if I have the option to become unkillable or have all the caps or have all the legendary weapons without me hunting them for them myself, oh, then you bet your ass I'm going to do that. Like, I'm not going to waste my fucking time, like, doing that. I'm just going to be like, oh, cool, yeah, I can just beat this game with no problem. Even when I tried to replay it one time, literally on stream, with no mods, I couldn't help it. I just picked up a mod and I just started modding again. It makes the game a lot of fun, but I feel like the modding is much better whenever you've already beaten the game and then you just add it on to make the game last longer. But from the get-go, for me to have mods as an option, especially when the game wasn't really that much fun, it just kind of worked against itself in a way. Like with Fallout New Vegas, I have that on a PC. I could easily put the mods on it, but I refuse to because I think the vanilla game itself is just way too enjoyable. It's way too much fun, and I don't know. I personally love that. I love that game always, and that's why I love the Outer Worlds. The fact that they were able to take some of the same people who worked on Fallout New Vegas, and they were able to make Outer Worlds. And by the way, if you haven't played Outer Worlds, do yourself a favor, play Outer Worlds. It's a lot of fun. It's no Fallout New Vegas, don't get me wrong, but it is still a lot of fun. And they couldn't have picked a better time to come out with that type of game when Fallout 76 was the dumpster fire that it was not that long ago. They picked the perfect time to drop that game, and when they did, we ended up having a moment where that developer got a lot of good attention. Granted, they were like, hey, don't shit on, Bethesda. They're trying their best, and we really like what they did with it. They were trying to save face for Bethesda, and we all know why, because they want to work with Bethesda again. And to be honest, I would love for Obsidian to work with Bethesda again to make Fallout 5. Now, somebody on my stream, I don't remember who it was, came into my stream one time and said that Bethesda's in the talks with Obsidian to make Fallout 5, which would be freaking amazing if they did. I'm not gonna hold my breath. They said for a while that that might not happen and all blah blah blah, and it's probably never gonna happen. And I was like, okay, I just kind of like let myself, let it go. But if there's even the slightest chance that we can get another Obsidian Fallout, I'm excited about that. I'm truly, truly excited for that, and I hope it comes to pass because they deserve a chance. They deserve another chance, especially. But this time they better have better lawyers when it comes to their contract negotiation because last time Bethesda fucked them over hardcore with that. What was it? 84. They had to get an 85 on Metacritic, and they got an 84%. Literally 1% low than what they needed. And Bethesda was like, well, that sucks to be you. You didn't get the goal that we wanted you to get, so we're not paying you. That is truly... That should have been the sign when people were like, oh, Bethesda's a, kind of a jerk, group of people. Personally. I don't know. At least that's my 2 cents. That's my rating of the Fallout games. Again, we're going to go over that. It's definitely Fallout New Vegas. Then we got Fallout 1 and 2. Then we got Fallout 3. Fallout 76 and Fallout 4. Not a hot take. I know some people would probably put Fallout 4 way higher on their list. I may get some hate for this, but that's okay. If you don't agree, if you have an argument that's for Fallout 4 to be higher on my list, please put it in the comments. I want to hear your opinion. I don't hate the idea of discussing it. I want people to tell me their opinions on the game. You have a right to it. If you don't like my opinion, that's fine. I absolutely accept everybody's opinions on it. So I'm going to end my video here. If you liked it, please like the video, subscribe. I really would appreciate it. Definitely comment, give me ideas, suggestions, what you think, anything. I appreciate it all. I want to hear your opinions. Thank you guys. Have a good night.